Venting.
Announcement to let the crew know that as we vent off various lines on the launch pad, we'll hear some loud noises. Let the crew know that's planned. We're also right now draining the liquid oxygen out of the transporter erector, draining the lines, getting ready for launch. Waiting for the startup call at T-minus 1 minute.
Watching the launch of Inspiration4 on a SpaceX Falcon 9. This is the first all private orbital space flight.
FPS is on, Falcon 9 is in startup,
You can hear the cheers. We're inside 1 minute.
SpaceX, go for launch.
Inspiration4 is go for launch. Punch it, SpaceX.
Commander,
So yes,
call
crew
it
of
down.
4 on a 3-day
Punch it, space up.
orbit. Oh. Okay, T-minus 15.
T-minus 15 seconds.
10, 9, 8, 7, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. And we lift off the Falcon 9.
Perfect units. Go Dragons. Go Falcon. Godspeed Inspiration4. Copy, 1 Alpha.
Vehicle is pitching downrange.
Stage 1 propulsion is nominal.
T plus 30 seconds. Callouts indicate nominal. Historic mission flying the Inspiration4 crew on board Dragon and Falcon 9. Great view of the crew in the capsule.
Fun fact, this vessel obviously does not have a docking
Into the
mechanism.
throttle bucket.
Stage 1 throttle down.
So this vehicle obviously
Throttling down in preparation for the period of maximum dynamic pressure.
So it's actually just going, it actually just has a giant glass cupola.
And then the flight.
9 is supersonic. Max Q.
Stage 1 throttle up.
We're through the period of maximum dynamic pressure.
Copy,
We're
1
throttled
Bravo.
back up, and 1 Bravo, the call out from space. That's one of the abort sequences. That is a nominal call. Everything continues to be good. Looks like a smooth ride for the crew. Okay, we heard the call out. MVAC-E is chilling. We're beginning to get the turbo pump ready on the second stage engine for ignition. We're passing through 3 G's acceleration. Everything continues to look nominal.
As we approach MECO, main engine cutoff.
Merlin
Stage
engines are
1
throttling
throttle
down
down.
for G limiting. 4 G's, we're holding it there for the crew. Major event coming up will be main engine cutoff, followed by stage separation, looking at the second stage engine nozzle, and then ignition of the second stage.
Okay, I believe that's MECO. Or rather, that is MECO.
And MECO.
Stage separation confirmed.
There we go.
And ignition.
Copy, 2 Alpha.
There we heard the call, and you can see on your screen there on the right-hand side that the second
There's
stage
the good
has
things to
ignited.
play.
That's the MVAC engine. I'm sure the crew felt another kick in the G's there as it ignited. Officially, the Inspiration4 crew are now on their way to space.
I mean,
First stage
even
booster
before
there
this,
on
they
the
were on their way
left-hand
to
side of your
space.
screen is making its way back down to Earth. The grid fins have popped out to assist with the steering. It will be making a landing attempt on our drone ship. Just read the instructions, which is parked out in holding position in the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah, so we have a couple of views on
Acquisition
screen.
of signal, Bermuda.
As Kate mentioned, the left-hand side is a view from the top of our first stage looking down. That has already separated from the second stage, and it's making its way back to Earth. The velocity of the first
Dragon
stage
SpaceX, trajectory nominal.
is being tracked on the bottom left-hand side of your screen. On the right-hand side of your screen is a view of our second stage Merlin vacuum engine. On the opposite end of that engine is the second stage and the crew, which sits on top of the second stage. Everything looks to be going normally with them. And you can also track the velocity on the second stage on the bottom right-hand side of your screen. And we also have awesome views of the crew inside of their capsule as well.
I'm pretty sure during first stage ascent, I saw Dr.
Stage
Cyan
2
Proctor.
propulsion nominal.
I'm pretty sure I saw Dr. Cyan Proctor give us 2 thumbs up. I'm sure she enjoyed this ride that she's been waiting for her entire life.
One notable thing too is we're getting some twilight views. The sun just set in Florida, but we're high enough up where the light around the horizon is also reflecting off of very high altitude objects, such as the first and second stages.
Dragon SpaceX, trajectory nominal.
Love to hear that call out. Trajectory nominal from the guidance engineer.
That means everything's
Also
gonna be
notice
fine.
we're really up there now, well past 100 kilometers.
Acquisition of signal, New Hampshire.
Just before that view switched, we saw some teammate fist bumps going on there inside of the cabin.
Yeah, they look like they're having a fun ride there.
Don't
And their
fist bump
journey
until you're
isn't
in orbit.
over. We've got about 7 more minutes until Dragon separates from the second stage.
Yes, next milestone for this mission is actually going to be happening on the first stage. It's going to be performing a re-entry burn that's going to be coming up around the T plus 7 minute and 30-second mark. That burn is used to slow down the first stage before it re-enters the denser parts of the atmosphere. A few minutes later, it will execute a landing burn and make an attempt to land on our drone ship that's currently parked in the Atlantic Ocean.
Dragon SpaceX, trajectory nominal.
Dragon copies.
So far,
Sorry.
I was just going to say, so far, everything looking great for the Inspiration4 crew. Hearing that everything is proceeding nominally there with the second stage, which is what you see on the right-hand side.
Stage 2 propulsion is nominal.
I was just going to say that MVAC engine we just heard now is looking nominal.
About a minute left to go before the first stage performs its first burn.
And on your left-hand side, looking at the first stage, you may see those white puffs. Those are the nitrogen puffs helping to steer and guide the vehicle. Basically
SpaceX trajectory nominal.
is the attitude control
Dragon copies.
for the vehicle as it makes its way back down to Earth.
There's the crew on the right-hand side of your screen. I think I see some more thumbs up there. Dr. Proctor is clearly excited that she's finally in space. Again, this mission will be orbiting Earth for 3 days, and they will be at an altitude of 575 kilometers, which, if I remember correctly, John you said that that is the distance from Los Angeles to the Golden Gate Bridge.
There you go. They're going to get there a lot faster.
Stage 2, FTS is saved.
Right now,
That was the entry one.
So what you're seeing on screen on the left-hand side is the entry burns, the first of 2 burns on the first stage. Again, this first stage has already separated from the second stage. So the first stage is making its way back to Earth, trying to land, and the second stage, everything is going well. It is headed into orbit with the crew on board.
Actually, there on your screen, you can see a sunrise horizon there with planet Earth. just behind the glowing MVAC engine.
Stage 2 is in terminal guidance.
Call out
Okay, so
stage
we're
2 in
approaching
terminal
Stage 1.
guidance. We're at the altitude. We're working the angular momentum we need to get into the right orbit. And if you're wondering, crew's pulling about 3.5 Gs right now, less than they took on the first stage flight.
So in about 15 seconds, we are
Okay, you can
expecting
see.
Copy
the
Shannon.
That's abort mode, so they'll be landing near Shannon. If at this point they have to abort.
we are
Throttle
expecting
down.
the MVAC to throttle down and cut off in an event called second engine cutoff, and then we'll wait for the confirmation of good orbit. At the same time, the first stage will be beginning its
Seco.
landing burn. And here we have the MVAC. We just saw that it
And
shut off
Seco
its
leader.
engine.
We don't have any views from the fire check site. Okay, landing run started.
Dragon SpaceX, nominal orbit insertion.
All right, good news there. The nominal orbit insertion. That's amazing news for our Inspiration4 crew.
We were just carried right to the doorstep of an exciting and unexplored frontier. A few have come before and many are about to follow. The door's opening now, and it's pretty incredible.
Stage 1 landing is confirmed.
Dragon SpaceX, escape system is disarmed.
And you can hear the excitement behind me. We just heard from Jared thanking everyone for making this mission possible. The Dragon capsule and crew are in a nominal orbit. In a few minutes here, we'll begin opening that. Oh, excuse me. In a few minutes here, we'll separate from the second stage, and then shortly after that, we'll begin opening that nose cone. At the same time, we landed our first stage on the drone ship, which is super exciting.
As if the second stage action wasn't exciting enough.
Right.
So there's that MVAC engine, like we mentioned before. It has already shut down in an event known as second engine cutoff. And the crew are now gliding, if you will.
Towards
Now, one thing
me,
right now
honestly.
is we're coming up just under 11 minutes in the flight. We're waiting another minute and a half or so before we get into the separation sequence. The second stage is going through a series of events where we make sure that gases are all pushed out of the system. There aren't any what they call disturbance torques. We want to make sure that the second stage is very stable, it's quiet, it's not moving around, it's not doing anything. So we give it a few minutes to actually just vent everything down, then go into quiet mode. Then Dragon will send the command to separate itself from the Falcon 9. It'll be pushed away. Falcon 9 stays in orbit for a while till it eventually comes back to Earth, and then Dragon moves on its way.
Yeah, John, you talked about the terminal count earlier today, and this is almost similar to that. It's like another check before the next event that happens.
The beauty of the countdown.
Okay, we're about 30 seconds away from separation of Dragon from the second stage. The view on the left-hand side of the screen is a view of the unpressurized section of Dragon. So it's the sort of back end, the trunk section of the Dragon. So when we do see separation, we'll see that kind of push away from the second stage and make its way into orbit.
That's already in orbit, but area we're just a few seconds
Once again,
away
the
now.
Inspiration4 has lifted off from pad 39A. They are now in orbit around Earth and
And the Dragon has deployed.
Dragon, separation confirmed.
So that is the Dragon trunk.
Dragon, on behalf of the Falcon 9 team, we gave you a great ride to orbit. Enjoy your time on orbit, and we look forward to you flying again with SpaceX. And copy that, Garrus. We really appreciate everyone's help back in LCC.
That was the
All right,
voice
guys.
of SpaceX Chief Engineer Bill Gerstenmaier communicating with Inspiration4 Commander Jared Isaacman.
Okay, as I'm button 25, that was launch of Inspiration 4. I'm going to end this video here. Goodbye.